Adelantico, adelantico.
Con el trío Baracán.
Hey, welcome back to Kiki's Cuban Kitchen. Today we're going to take a traditional Maryland dish and put a little Cuban twist to it. I was talking to my friends Phil and Mary Ann yesterday, and I was telling them today on today's Kiki's Cuban Kitchen I was going to make a Cuban cream of crab, and Phil said, there's no such thing in Cuba. I know. So we're going to add a little Cuban spice to a Maryland cream of crab, and it's going to be increíblemente riquísimo. So we're going to take first 2 stalks of celery. The leaves, I want you to take the leaves and all, okay, because there's a lot of flavor in the leaves. I have a little bit of olive oil already in my pan to get my pan nice and hot. And when I put the celery in, the sweetness of the celery is just going to give Maryland cream of crab soup an amazing flavor. So there goes the celery. Now you're going to say, well, how is she going to do this? Well, in a traditional Maryland cream of crab soup, you don't usually have cumin and paprika and a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder. You know, to me that just gives the soup really nice depth of flavor while still maintaining the delicate aspect of the crab meat, its sweetness and freshness. So I grew up in a family where creativity in the kitchen was an absolute must. You know, we left during the Cuban Revolution in the 60s, and we didn't have much. So it was important for my grandmother, who became a family cook, to really become creative with very few things in the house. And she used to make these amazing toasts with ketchup. And we thought we were having just these incredible hors d'oeuvres. She used to make them so beautiful. If we had olives, she would put a little bit of olives on the top. If she had a little bit of parsley or cilantro. I wish you could smell this. Once that onion hits the pan, wow. So we're just going to get the onions a little bit, not caramelized, I just want them to become translucent. Now this is going to make about 6 to 8 servings. You know, it depends how hungry your guests are. In my house, this would probably make about 4 because my husband loves my cooking. And I know, he's gained a few pounds since we got married, and we just got married a few months ago. So here goes about 1 tablespoon of cilantro. I'm just using the cilantro leaves here, okay? Because I don't want that big, bold flavor that the stems have. So I just want the delicate flavor of the leaves. There that goes in. And of course, what Cuban cuisine doesn't have garlic? 2 cloves of garlic. I know Phil. Phil's Italian, and he makes amazing marinara sauce, so he knows all about garlic and how garlic can just bring out the sweetness and wonderful flavors of any dish. This is for you, Phil, and yes, I'll be bringing you some, let you try it, and then let you tell me, oh my gosh, this is really a Cubanized Maryland cream of crab soup. So in goes 2 cloves of garlic. Now, we're just going to stir this for a couple minutes. Now we're going to add just a dollop of white wine. See that? That was just a dollop. And we're going to let that evaporate so that all the flavors concentrate. Wow. This makes a really, really nice base for any soup. You know, I know that traditional Cuban cooking calls for a lot of our sofrito, but you don't have to put sofrito into anything. You know, you can take any vegetables or any herbs that you have left over in the fridge and just chop them up and make your own base and just create all these different flavors. It's all about being creative and wonderful and just having an amazing time and making your family happy and, you know, letting everyone you know that, hey, look what I made for you. So next thing we're going to do, we have to make a roux to thicken the soup. So I have here 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We may not add it all. There's still some liquid in here, but that's going to evaporate. Yeah, see? It's almost evaporated. So we're going to add 1. And these are heaping tablespoons. 2. This is 3. And I'm going to do a skinny one here. Okay, now we're going to add same amount of butter, about 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to cook that for a couple minutes until the flour is cooked through so that you don't have that floury taste once the soup is done. And you know, my daughter is the one who tastes me, and she does a great job, I think. She is so computer literate, and she's an amazing baker. My gosh. You should see this girl bake. She's going to go to law school, and I'm thinking, honey, you're missing your calling, but she's going to make a great attorney baker. You guys wait and see. Okay, so it looks here like my flour is cooked through. Can I have a shot of this, please? You see how it gets mushy like that? My flour is cooked. Now we're going to add 4 cups of seafood stock, and this is just store-bought seafood stock. You can make your own, but you know what? We work, we're busy, who has the time? Let's stir that a bit. And now we're going to add some heavy cream to this. It's cream of crab, right? It's got to be cream. Like Julia Child said, everything in moderation is very good. So I have about 3 cups here. We're going to put about half of that in there. And now we're going to season this. Then we're going to let it come to a boil, because that's going to tell you how thick your soup is going to be. Now, if you feel that your soup is not thick enough, what I would want you to do is put a little bit, about a tablespoon and a half of flour in a bowl with some of your hot liquid, and really stir it through so that it's not lumpy, and then add it back to the soup until you get the consistency you want. Now, this is some onion powder, a couple pinches of that, some garlic powder, a couple pinches of that, a tiny little pinch of paprika. It's going to make people say, ooh, kind of smoky, kind of not. Cumin, here's my Cuban part, Phil. Little pinch of cumin in there. This is a teaspoon of salt. Get in there. My husband has the heat on, so it makes things kind of humid. And a little pinch of black pepper. Okay, we're going to give this a stir. And we're going to let it come to a boil before we add our pound of crab meat, so that the crab meat doesn't lose its lumpiness. This comes to a boil. So we let it sit there for like 5 minutes before it comes to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you add your pound of crab meat. I like to save just a little bit of my crab meat for garnish. And once it's done, this is my finished product. So I like to top it off with a little bit of crab meat. Let's put another lump or 2 in there. Little leaf of cilantro, so to let people know that cilantro's in there. Grab a spoon, America, and dig in. And welcome to my Maryland Cuban cream of crab soup. Buen provecho, happy eatings. That's good.